welcome back to our channel this week. It's Amanda here with Homeschool and Life, and so excited again to be bringing you guys another video. It is on mine and Lauren's list of things to do to be able to get together and bring you guys some videos where we are together. We've still been, hanging out and doing our co-ops and spending time together, but sometimes when we're together and all the kids are around, it's hard to bring out the camera to make videos. But that is on our to-do list. We are still doing this channel together, and we are still, always talking about, our homeschool and what we can do to do better and what's going well, what's not going well, what books we're using, things like that. And so it's always nice to have, a friend or somebody that you can bounce ideas off of when you're homeschool. And that kind of leads me into one of my points on this video's topic. This video is, it's a link up with Abby from Rooted in Rest and then Jessica from the Waldock Way, and they do a link up every month, and it's just really fun. It's a good way for other, homeschool YouTubers to be able to all talk about one topic, and it's all linked up together in one playlist, and we really enjoy it. We think it's really fun, when they pick the topics, and then we all get to jump on board with that. So this is gonna be in collaboration with them. What's fun about it is whatever the topic is, just seeing how different everybody's homeschool is. And so this month they picked the topic of homeschool goals, and I really like that you can really take that however you want to. One thing that is important to me in homeschooling is, actually like having goals, like having a plan, having, it's like something that you're wanting accomplished. And I think when you sit down and you really think about those goals, or it makes you like dive deep into your homeschool onto the whys and what are you wanting to accomplish, whether for your kids, for yourself, or as a family, and not even necessarily maybe for the whole year, maybe just by monthly. And I just think when you are taking the time to think deeply about what you're doing, like only good is going to come of that, because you as the homeschool mom are able to, recognize places that maybe need improvement, or an area a kid might need improvement, and then you can take a minute or two, week or two, whatever, to focus on that task. And so the way it is for me, I'm just going to share some of, I don't know if you would call, I guess, goals, homeschool goals, but they are just kind of the things that I'm focusing on right now that's going to make our homeschool go well. And so that to me is a goal, because if you can recognize like, hey, this needs to be done to improve this, or doing this really well makes things go smoother, then it's just going to make the month go well. So these are in no particular order. My first homeschool goal is to have a food plan and schedule. I know that this is probably all moms, all wives, homeschool, not homeschool, work outside the home, not work outside the home, just anybody with kids, they're always needing to have a food plan. But I'm putting that into the realm of my homeschool goals, just because that is our life, what we're doing. I just always find that having a food plan just cuts down on so much wasted time. It cuts down on chaos. It cuts down on stress. And then like my children I have 4, and everybody's gone. Everybody's playing a different sport, and everybody's schedule is different. Gone are the days where we're all at home together on the same schedule. So having a food plan is a big deal in keeping everybody happy, keeping the kitchen mess down, and keeping our time less wasted. So the way that, I guess that would be a whole video in itself, how I do our food planning. But it is a little bit of extra work to, to try not to be winging it all the time. And so just even having homeschool lunch plans, having, the options for the kids and the snacks, like not skimping on that just because you don't feel like messing with food at the moment. So anyways, I just find that always having a food plan is a big deal. Something else that I'm working on, homeschool goal, is working in a time frame and then moving on. Our schedule is, I did a video about our schedule a couple weeks ago. It's a little bit overwhelming to me, to just be honest, just because of this one leaves in the morning, and then this one leaves again in the afternoon, and then 3 days a week this one goes here, and then so many days a week this one's gone in the morning and in the afternoon. And it's a little bit much. And it kind of overwhelms me. And so like our homeschool days are not as simple and sweet as they were when everybody was in elementary, which is fine. You know, we've moved into a new season of life. You have to adjust to new seasons and just, you know, take it in stride as it comes. And so, for example, my youngest, we're doing our history and science. If he's asking me 150 questions over, you know, our science or history topic, and we've been doing it, 30, 40 minutes, and we don't get finished with the lesson, it's okay. Like, just work and do the best you can with the time that you have, and just stop. Like, not being tied to just having to finish the lesson just because some book says that I need to finish the lesson. Working for the time that we have and doing the best you can to keep, education good and atmosphere good, relationships good, and all of those things. And a lot of times, like even with my older kids, we're having a little bit harder time, like getting everything in that I would want in. Now, I do recognize that sometimes like what I'm expecting might be a little bit much because there's just so much. I get excited and I want to do, this topic and I want to teach them this before they leave my house. But when they only have, so many hours a day to be able to get schoolwork in, and then they're still, working hard on their multiple sports, and then, working hard on whatever we're doing at church, and then they're working hard in their extra, Bible studies and youth activities. Like, if you sit down and think about their time, it really is honestly limited. And so when I go back to our education, I think I talked about it in our schedule video where like we're only doing philosophy a couple days a week, and like the world religions class that I picked up, it's going to take us 2 years to do one class, and that's okay. Just I want them to do good work. I want them to love learning. I want them to know how to learn and put effort into the things that we're doing. So even with my high schoolers, a goal right now is just work with the time that we have and then just move on, or just stop and then just pick it up the next day. That's hard. I guess that's a goal for me. I know for some of you guys, your personalities, that's probably not hard, but I'm a checklist person. I am type A. I'm your typical oldest. So those things are hard for me. But for the sake of like homeschool atmosphere, relationship, and just happy home, those things is what needs to be done in this season. Another goal is, I guess that kind of goes into like piggybacking on that, is your relationships and your atmosphere of your homeschool, like really depends, on the mom, the teacher, and just navigating the busy schedules, navigating teenage, how do you put that? Life-changing hormones, attitudes, however you want to call it, knowing when to say something, when not to say something. So just really, my goal there is to just be prayerful in asking the Lord basically for wisdom on how to always make a good atmosphere, and knowing when to say something and when not to say something. That would probably be a whole nother video, but that's also a season of life that we're in. I don't know. I should probably number these. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, probably fourth. My fourth goal for homeschool right now is to make sure that I am like really dialed in on like, biblical, like Bible reading and my relationship there, and encouragement in relationship with other homeschool moms. Our life, we do not do a homeschool co-op. Well, I do with Lauren, but like a formal, organized 60, 70 kids co-op, we do not do that. It doesn't work for our family. It doesn't work for our schedule. It's just not a good fit for us. But I still find that it's very important to get together with other homeschool moms who are living a similar season of you. Even if you're not even talking about homeschooling, just almost being in the same house, same room, same coffee shop, eating lunch, having coffee, and just being together usually makes me feel refreshed and sparks joy. And so just still making that a priority in this schedule, I think works well with our schedule, goes good with making a good like a homeschool atmosphere. So the goal there is, even if we're busy, even if it means we need to put something off for the day, not neglecting those relationships. So I think that's good. I should probably put this in a like a pretty graphic 6 homeschool goals for the month or something, to try to have it worded more concise for you. Another goal that I have, it's like 5 or 6, is choosing goals with my youngest and actually doing it. So it doesn't matter, you know, in any season, no matter how many kids you have, like none of them are going to be raised the same, because you're different, you're older, your schedules are different, your life looks different. So like each of my kids really is experiencing a different childhood in our home, just because of their birth order and what's going on in our family. So my youngest, you know, he's coming in with a bunch of older siblings with busy schedules and things like that. And so he is not getting the same elementary homeschool experience that my olders did. And so I've kind of made a point to go back and just looking at pictures and things like that, and like think, what were some things like that my kids really enjoyed or really liked when they were in elementary. And I'm trying to choose those as goals and make it a priority to do with my youngest, even if it's inconvenient. And so I have found each week or every other week, however it works out, I have found that when I actually do those things, like I am happier, like he brings joy, it sparks, you know, like a breath of fresh air into our homeschool. So just choosing the goals and actually doing it. And I do this in with my planning for the week. For example, we're doing American history, and I remember when all of my older ones were, you know, 3rd grade, we made Johnny cakes on the stovetop, and then we marched around like, you know, we were doing the Revolutionary War. I mean, it was just silly and fun, but they all talk about it and they all remember it. And but to stop in the middle of the day with the youngest right now to do that, you know, would take a little bit of time in planning, because there's other people, but like doing those things is important. So that's what I'm doing, choosing my goals with my youngest and actually holding myself accountable to do it. And my last goal, it's going to sound kind of weird, but this is it, and it's going to sound like so odd on a homeschool YouTube channel. My homeschool goal for the overall year, my overall theme to myself for the year is homeschool like it's my last. And I have that written down. I'll write it down in my planner. I'll say it to myself. Sometimes I do not want it to be my last homeschool year. Like I would like to, my goal and hope would be able to homeschool everybody K-12. So like I don't have any plans of not doing it. But I do have one that he did go to public school this year, and then I have another one who the choice, when my kids get in high school, the choice is always open. And so like that's kind of been the way we said that we would do it from the beginning, that when they got to high school they could pick, you know, and we're getting into those years. And so I just don't know how it all's gonna go. And so I want to be able to look back, and if it did have something like that did happen, to know that like I finished well, and I finished strong, and I did the things that I wanted to do. We did do the read alouds and discuss them. We did go on the fun field trips. We did have great memories and, you know, good relationships. And we did walk along beside each other in our college algebra, and we're able to talk about it. And so that, like, keeping that like on my mind, like my motto, like homeschool like it's my last. It just really helps me as a homeschool mom keep things in perspective over what's important, what are my goals, what do I want my homeschool to look like, what do I want my relationship with my kids to be like, what do I want their relationships with each other to be like. And so, again, a funny motto, but, you know, I've talked to my daughter. She is a sophomore in high school right now. I ask her all the time, like, are you good? Are you happy? And she's like, yeah, I want to homeschool all the way through K-12. You know, I want to do that. And then I'll ask my son, who's also in high school, and he's like, oh, I'm not sure yet. You know, he waffles back and forth. And so I guess that's the heart of where that goal has come from. And it really does. It's almost like it's like almost like a freeing thing, like, because you're able to focus on like the things that really matter to you in your homeschool and like really search that out. So those would be my goals. Sorry that that's like all over the place. So basically, food, work in a time frame and don't be so stressed about schedule. Make sure you're hanging out with other homeschool moms. Homeschool like it's your last, and choose goals to do with your youngest and like actually make it happen for those of you who are, you know, have ones of varied ages. And so the next thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you my planner. And just because it has to do with goals, it's my favorite planner ever. I've ordered it for like 10 years straight. I will not view to another planner. And so here it goes. Speaking of goals, at the front of every page, like it's got the month, and you're able to write down your personal goals, something you want to focus on. Maybe it's a scripture, maybe it's a person, maybe if you have some health goals, maybe if you're trying not to eat sugar or limit your coffee or whatever, any kind of work goals that you might have, financial goals. Are you trying to save up to, I don't know, surprise your kids with a night out to eat where they can order wherever they want? Any kind of important dates, or just some notes. And so this is going to be at the very front page of each month, and I just really like it. Another reason, oh, there's what we got going on. See? Sorry, I'm trying to get to a month. One of the reasons I like this planner, I'll try to send you to a blank one. This is what, December? You've got your days written here on the side beside your calendar layout, and it makes it really easy to write down what you need to do, and then you can have your to-do list over on this side. I do not like the planners that have just your days, because like I need to write down my to-do list, and then like sometimes I'll map it out over here how I'm going to do it. And so that each week, see, and then you can just turn the page to the next and copy over your to-do list from anything that you didn't get done. But, sorry, I didn't figure everybody would want to see my month spreads. But then you do also have the month spreads at the beginning of each month, so you can go ahead and write things in that you need to do. So, and then, well, I guess we'll turn way back here. Well, see, that's a month that we had. What is that? June. And so then each week I'll just turn my to-do list over each week. So this is the planner. If you are a planner person, I recommend it for all of those reasons. And then, oh, sorry, I'm even got more stuff. There's a little pocket back here in the back if you need to stick a couple of papers that might be interesting. And then they have a notes section just in the very back. And this is where sometimes like I'll just write down things for the year or something I want to remember, and then I'll put it here. And what I like about this is, okay, sorry, this is so random. But for example, I try to start my Christmas shopping in November. Sometimes I'll go to like the week of somebody's birthday or a week before it, and I'll be like, don't forget to buy, you know, so-and-so a present. This is a good idea. Or remember to call somebody. So anyways. So that is my favorite planner. It really works for my brain, and it helps me in like my goal setting for each week and my menu, things like that. I know everybody uses a digital planner. I know everybody does everything digitally, but if I lost this would be such a big deal. So if you don't have a planner and you need one, that would be it. That would be my suggestion, recommendation. So anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening to my rambling about what I'm working on and my goals in our homeschool. I hope it feels like I'm just talking to you as a friend, And if you guys have any videos that you would like Lauren and I to do, please feel free to drop that in the comments or and ask us, and we'd be happy to do that. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel, and thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks.